Hello, good evening, welcome, good day, whatever. Hello. This is my terrain setup. It's not quite finished. It needs more paintwork, but it's good enough because I want to get on and get a game going. This game is going to be one-page rules, World War II in 15mm, and you cannot get more niche than that, I don't think. So I'm going to set it up using World War II Wargaming Solitaire Toolkit. So I made some notes because there are some basic things. You don't have to use the toolkit for everything. So I looked through, and the Russian theater wanted to go early to mid-war. And we're looking at the Rzhev Salient, and sorry if I'm killing that, but that's the way it is. So basically, it is 1942. The Soviet armies are launching repeated assaults on the Rzhev Salient, while the German defenders hold forested ridges and villages, attack as Soviets defended Germans. Now, again, you can roll this stuff, but I just wanted to pick that one because of the village. I got Russians printed out and painted. I got Germans printed out and painted at 15mm, so that's where we're going to start. So let's make a note of that. Okay, so that's our first step. The next thing we're going to do, set up North Africa. Terrain I've already got, I don't need to. So now we want to look at force generation. And there's a points value, but let's just see how those points. So you always try and fit to the host game. So, but instead of just, I don't know, if I use this, I don't, I'm not playing against myself per se. I'm playing, I have less control over what my opponent has and what I have, if you see what I mean. So let's try this. We're going to do force generator both sides. There's a D100. 02. So we've got a rifle company versus a rifle company plus armored recon platoon. So we've got defending is a German rifle company. And then attacking we have a Russian armored recon platoon. Alrighty. So that's it. Now, I also want to see, we can do strength variations. So that's a 2d6 roll. So the Germans are on a 9. They've got a reinforced company. So the Germans have an extra squad and +1 support weapon. Okay. The Russians 10, also reinforced, +1 squad, +1 support. Okay, so, and we'll do the making up the armies after this, but this is how it's panned out so far. So that's force generation. So I'm not going to use artillery and close air support just because I'm not that familiar with one-page rules for that. So I'm going to leave that out for this particular battle. So the next thing we want to know is the victory conditions, which is a D20. So what are these guys actually fighting for? 14. It's a rescue mission. Squad reaches designated building and holds for 2 turns. So we've got to rescue someone that's in one of these buildings. I will pick one at random. So rescue. So that's what they're doing. They're coming in to rescue someone or something. And you always, you fit to your host game. So one-page rules, their objectives are if you're within 3 inches of the objective, uncontested. So that's what that's going to be. So deployment, let's take a look at the deployment if there's anything weird about that. On number 5, defender setup, which is the Germans. So German setup, they have ambush positions. So one squad or weapon may start hidden in terrain and the rest are deployed normally. So one hidden. Now normal on one-page rules is the first 12 inches of the table. The attacker setup are going to do, the Russians are doing a cautious approach. So the entire force starts off table and enters turn 1 but cannot run or double move. So just enter. So the other thing that we want to know, well, let's do the scenario tweaks next. So there a wrinkle in this scenario. Oh. So number 12. 12, local counterattack. The defender gains 1 extra small unit arriving from any table edge on turn 4. And then fog of war. We're going to do d20. We get a 4. Enemy reserves. At a set point midway through the scenario, the defender unexpectedly gains reinforcements of average strength. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to meld that together with the turn 4 and say 2 units on turn 4. So next thing, we want to know how the Russians are actually playing this game, because I don't want to play myself. I want to play how the Russians, you know, what their overall stance is, what their general orders are. So let's take a look at that. It's going to be a d10 to 4. Well, static defense isn't going to work. Let's try another one. 9. Delay harass. Avoid decisive battle. Focus on slowing the enemy and inflicting attrition. So Russians are gonna do delay harass. So we're gonna try not to commit. What they're gonna do is try and delay and harass the Germans while they get a team in to pull out whatever that thing that's going to be rescued, which is to be determined. And I think that'll do for now. I have random events in here we can use if we need to spruce it up, but we've already got, so we've got the Germans here moving in. We'll decide whatever it is they got to rescue later on for the narrative. The Russians are moving cautiously in at the beginning. They are going to not want to commit. They're going to delay harass. They have an armored recon force. So we see the Germans are up to something. I want to see what it is. So I guess the next thing to do is go build the forces. Oh, let's go do that.
So here we are. This is the Army Forge for one-page rules. This thing is awesome. I've used it before. I've had a look around. So let's do it for this actual scenario. So what we're going to be using is, and all of their books are always up to date. So there's no errata that you have to print out or anything. So if we go to Grimdark Future, because that's the system we will be using for this scenario. Now these are the official books, which are awesome, excellent. Go in, look, and it's free. I mean, come on. So we're not going to be using these right now. I am going to come back and use and do some sci-fi gaming with this, but not quite yet. What we're going to use is, if you look here, there's a community books. So in here is where the community have made armies, and there are rule sets. You can make your own armies with this system, which is, I find, also very good. And if I had time, I'd be dinking with it right now, but I don't. So under the community books people have made, if we do a search for World War II, here we go. So we have army books for Second World War. So let's look at, now I haven't had time to go through all of them. Let's see, there's a German one, but it's got 83%. This one has 87%. I'm just going to pick this one because it's near the top. 87%, good enough for me, good enough for grenades. Create new list. Let's go there. So let's do, I'm going to call this one, let's look at my notes here. What were we doing again? Yes. So, Salient, German. Okay, so let's keep this at 1,000 points, see where we end up. I'm not going to turn on these because really we're not playing in a tournament or anything, so I don't want to force it to be a fair list. I just want to create a list. So here we go. List is empty. Here are all the units and stuff you can pick from. We are going to need, we're German, so the first thing we need is a company of an infantry company. So if we go down here, these going to be just, we're going to call these, that's just normal infantry. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3. So 3 squads of infantry. Now you can, here, you can make bigger squads. I'm not going to. I want 3 platoons of 10. And then here are all, I guess in 40k it's like war gear or upgrades, whatever. I'm going to leave them with rifles. Now, because they are German infantry squads, they're all going to have an MG42. Because that's what the German squad was built around. So there we go. So they've all got the MG. I'm going to give them all a sergeant because this is when the Wehrmacht was had their good soldiers still around. So when the model attacks, unmodified results of 6 hit, deal 1 extra hit. So let's keep that. So we're at 585 out of our target of 1,000. We'll get. It doesn't have to be exactly 1,000. It's not a tournament. So we're also looking at the notes. Is that we have an extra squad. So what do we have? Because we're over strength company. We're gonna add. Let's add. Luftwaffe Field Division, Osttruppen Squad. Volkssturm, no. I mean, there's tons of things we can add here. But we want a squad. We want them a little bit different. Let's add Pioneer Squad. There we go. 5 men, Pioneer Squad. And we can get for them... We're going to give them submachine guns. So, 2 guys got submachine guns. And then we're going to give them an LMG. Flamethrower, nope. Let's just leave them. Let's say they're good attackers. There we go. So give them a little bit of edge. So that's our extra squad. Then we also got an extra support. So let's take a Panzerschreck team. There we go. And can we change those? We're going to make these good attackers too. And then we can kind of put them together with a Pioneer Squad. So, there we go. So that's 3 Panzerschrecks, deadly. Okay. So that is basically, we're at to 870. Let's go up and add in an officer. So what kind of officer do we want? Second lieutenant has advanced tactics. Advanced tactics. Pick 1 friendly with them, moves +2 inches, or we can have precision shots. Let's do that. Let's give him that. That'll do. And then we're also going to add a medic. Let's add a medic. And then what the medic will give us is regeneration. So when a unit where all models, that's tough. So there we go. So yeah, let's take that. And no, we don't want him to be a good attacker. So we're at 1,005 points. That's nice. We've hit our target. So let's view the list. So what this does is it creates a unit card. So we've got our officer, our medic, our infantry squads, our pioneer squads, and our Panzerschreck team as cards on the list. And you can't get better than that. I mean, this thing just rocks. Alright, so that's the Germans done. Let's move on and do the Russians. Okay, test. Alright, so let's go and do the Russians. Again, the official books, community books, and we're going to go World War II up here. So German, US, Italian, Japanese, Soviets. That's a 92% voted, so let's just take that one. And create new list. So we're going to call this one again. I can't even say that word. Salient Soviet. Okay, 1,000 points as in the other one. We're not going to turn on any four-star organization. So we need to start again. We're going to start with regular infantry company. So these guys have got them in 5s. Do they have? Nope, not a big deal. So we'll take that. And we're going to say combined unit. So it's a 10-man team. So what can we do with these guys? Do we want veteran though? 1942. Let's get rid of that for now and think about it. No, not duplicate. Egypt. Remove. Okay. What else do we have? Veteran, regular infantry. There we go. That's what we wanted. So we're going to do combined unit. Let's have a couple of SMGs. Do we give them an LMG? Yeah, why not? There we go. Let's throw on an anti-tank grenade. We don't need it, but would they have it? Nah, let's just leave it for now. I'm trying to, kit them out as they would be, but let's leave that. So now we can duplicate 2, 3. There we go. Where are we at? 585. So they are also, what I'm going to do is, these are supposed to be an armored recon. So let's give them let's give them a T-34 early version. There we go. And I'm doing this just because that's the model car. But it's a solo game, so I don't care. I can do what I want. Medium tank. So yeah, let's throw a tank in the mix. Now, we're going to give it, it's got a medium anti-tank gun, because it's a, earlier T-34. And it's got, I'm going to give it 1 MMG. So keep it buttoned up. There we go. So there's that. Now, we're at 1,045 points already. So they are attacking, I suppose. I'm just wondering if I should give them an officer or not. Or a medic or... Alright, that's work dealt with. Sorry about that. Where were we? Okay, so we got 1045. The Russians are attacking. We've got 3 regular infantries and a tank. What we can do, what I'm going to do then is, I don't know why I'm trying to even it up, but I'm going to just force of habit. Let's see, on these guys, let's take off the LMGs. They're riflemen. No LMGs for you. Because I want to put in an officer. Let's add him. At least 1. So what do they got here? They got so many upgrades. It's good. Let's see. No retreat order. Let's do that. And then we're gonna add. Is that another one? And we're gonna call him no retreat order as well. There we go. So we got 2 officers. They get 1150. That's fine. They're attacking. Let's see how that works. All right. There we go. So there's the Russians. So if we go and look at, there's their battle cards, which is nice. Alrighty. We have our armies ready to go. Let's take a look.
Well, here we have it. Here are Russians, the sheep, the tank, 3 companies, 2 officers. The Germans have 3 companies. They have 3 Panzerschreck, 1 pioneer, a medic, and an officer. And we are pretty much ready to go. So I'm going to end this video here, and then I'm going to play the game and record it. Probably not now because work is work. But hopefully in the next couple of days, I'll have the game done and in the tin and thrown up for you guys to look at. 15mm open page rules, World War II. How niche do you want to get? And solo. So let's see how it goes. Thanks for watching.